I'm cracking one open for the dads today. We're talking about dads in movies. For some reason, the one thing in a movie or TV show, there is a couple of those in there, that will without fail get me emotional is a father-son moment. Spider-Man Into the Spiderverse is our first film that I wish to discuss. The thing is about Spiderverse is there's kind of two dad moments in here. Well, maybe three. Miles has his uncle Aaron, who is, I guess, a villain, but I mean, he still looks up to him, so that's kind of one. And also he has Peter B. Parker, but that's not really his dad. Parker goes through what I call the Alan Grant arc, which is where he starts off hating kids, and then by the end of the movie, through a lot of misadventures, he likes them and wants them. But the main one I want to discuss is actually with his actual father, of course. And it's the scene where Miles is webbed up to a chair because the other spider people don't think he's ready for the big adventure. So his dad knocks on the door and he's like, "Listen, Miles, I love you."
I see this spark in you. It's amazing. It's why I push you, but it's yours. Whatever you choose to do with it, you'll be great.
And then that replays during the best part of the movie, the "What's up, danger" moment. And it's just a nice moment. It kind of reinforces the message of the movie, and I think it's it really shows the heart of the film outside of it just being an outstanding comedy with great visuals, which everyone knows it is. Everyone says that. I'm sorry for repeating myself. Sticking with animated movies, and for some reason I thought there was more of a connection than there is. I thought that Lord and Miller had something to do with this movie. They don't, but How to Train Your Dragon, one of my favourite movies of all time, also has a great dad moment. So Hiccup's this weak little Viking. He wants to be strong. He wants to kill a dragon, and he gets the rarest of them all, but he doesn't have the heart to kill him. He's found a new buddy, and he learns a lot more about dragons than anyone else ever has. And his dad just thinks he's a really good dragon killer, but he's wrong. And there's this really emotional moment where after, the truth is revealed about Hiccup and the fact that he's actually just been friends with Toothless the whole time, Stoic just throws him into this room, and it's really well lit, like it's so dramatic, and he basically just berates him, and he's like, "You're not my son."
You're not my son.
But later on in the movie, the kids come back, they're all riding dragons now. Hiccup's taught them that they don't have to be enemies with the dragons. They end up saving the day, and there's this moment where Hiccup is on Toothless and Stoic comes up to him, and you're like, oh, what's going to happen here? Is there going to be more berating? But Stoic just takes his hand.
I'm proud to call you my son.
And it gets me, man. I'm crying right now just thinking about it. I'm definitely not just sweating. There's a heat wave in Ireland, and I'm too pale for this. Speaking of handshakes, it's a weird segue, but we'll get to it. The Sopranos has two moments that stick out to me, and there are spoilers for The Sopranos here, so I'll leave time codes for all of the things I talk about in the description, so you won't be spoiled. One minor one, and this is why this is a spoiler, is in the very last episode, in the very final scene, which is quite famous, but a lot of people don't know it. I didn't know it, thankfully, when I watched it. So at this point, AJ and Tony have had this kind of, it's not been a great relationship, but it's clear throughout that Tony does care about his son, especially from the next moment I'm going to talk about. But in this one, there's an important part, I feel, that shows the humanity for Tony Soprano, and it's just a simple thing. His son's sitting there looking at the menu. Tony just grabs his hand, gives it a shake. It's a real dad moment. I just love a good, realistic dad moment in a show or a movie. But the major one I want to talk about is after the botched suicide attempt of AJ Soprano. And I'm not going to comment on that aspect of it because it's a bit too much of a heavy topic I don't feel comfortable discussing. But it happens. AJ tries to kill himself, and Tony sees him and saves him from the pool. And initially he reacts exactly how you expect Tony Soprano to react. He's angry, he's shouting at me, he's like, "Why would you do this?" But then he turns, he changes, and you really see, and I think this is what makes The Sopranos so good. You see humanity to Tony Soprano. He's not just this angry monster. He has a heart, and he cares about his family, even if he is a cheater and a liar and all this, and a murderer. But it's when he's holding AJ. It's just a nice moment.
You're alright, baby. You're alright, baby. You're alright. You're alright.
Keeping it with TV shows, and if I keep making videos, which I might, I'll see how much fun I have doing this. So far, so good. I get to drink a non-alcoholic beer. Sure wish it was alcoholic. Sure wish it was colder. It's really warm out. A couple of TV shows I will definitely be talking about in other videos if I make more are Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Angel. Now I could talk about Buffy the Vampire Slayer with Giles and Buffy, but that's surrogate dad. That's, can't get into this. It doesn't count. But I can talk about Angel. So in the third season, we're introduced to the concept of Angel having a child, which is a huge thing. Vampires can't have kids, except this one did. 2 of them did. Darla got it from Angel, pooped out a baby, staked herself in there, it's a whole thing. Now the baby gets taken to this other dimension. When we see him again, he's grown up. He returns and he's the worst character in either show. He's awful. I mean, no offense to Vincent Kartheiser, I think that's how you say his name. But he's a terrible character. It's poorly written. It's just... What happens at the end of season 4 is simple. Angel agrees to work for the villains in exchange for a normal life for his son. I think that alone is a great moment. But the better moment comes in the actual series finale, the last episode, season 5, 22, the best episode of Angel. One of my favourite episodes of all time, my favourite finale of all time. In Wolfram and Hart, Angel and Connor, that's his son, I never said his name up until now, his name is Connor, probably should have done that. But they're in Wolfram and Hart, everything's falling apart, there's hell itself is coming to Earth, essentially. Everyone is basically guaranteed they're going to die. And Angel is going to continue the good fight. And I probably will do a whole video about this finale one day because I just love it to bits. But the important thing that happens here is Connor looks at Angel and he says, "They'll destroy you." And Angel has a great line, which I think perfectly encapsulates the show, the character, and being a dad. You know, it's just being a dad. He says,
"As long as you're okay, they can't."
It's a great line. It's a great moment. Great show. Go watch it. Not season 4 though. You can give that a skip. Well, that's it for the big ones, but I'm going to mention a couple of little ones. There was no real structure to this. These smaller mentions are only small mentions because either there's not a specific moment I can point out as like the definitive one like I did with the other ones, or because I like them, but maybe they're not as impactful as the other ones. Well, I'm going to go against the first thing I said because there is a specific moment for this one. The Mummy Returns. So the plot of this movie, Rick and Evie have a son now for some reason. Alex puts on the Scorpion King's bracelet. And now there's a ticking clock, he's going to die. So it all builds up to this moment where Rick has to run him into this pyramid, the Scorpion King's pyramid. But the son is chasing them. Totally not how the son works. I don't care. Because he jumps in at the last minute, saves Alex, and they're sitting there in the dirt. And they just have a nice little interaction.
It's not easy being dad.
Yeah, but you do it real good.
It's very real. It's very cool. Also, Brendan Fraser. You just can't go wrong with him, you know? He's also a pretty good dad in Doom Patrol. I've only seen the first season. Please don't spoil it. Next. So recently, actually, me and my friend watched Transformers, and we actually recorded a commentary for it. That probably won't be able to go up because copyright really attacked us on it. So, I don't know. I might make a video about Transformers, so I'll probably use clips from it there. I've got Transformers up there. I don't know. There you go. There's a couple there. But when we were watching it, there was a moment in Transformers that I'd never noticed before. I used to watch this all the time when I was a kid. I didn't know what masturbation meant. I was 6. The point is, there's a part in it where, actually in the very masturbation scene, where Michaela stands up and reveals herself to the scene. Not like that. And Sam's dad kind of just hits him with a fist bump. It's just a realistic dad moment. That dad I actually didn't hate in that movie. I actually liked him a lot in the first movie. He's very realistic as a dad. There's a couple other moments throughout the movie like that, but that's the one that I always remember now that I've noticed it. I don't know how much annoying they are in the sequels. I'll watch them eventually. The TV show Lucifer, in the latest season, or half season, Netflix is weird, they decided to introduce God, who is of course the father of Lucifer. And in the end of it, or at the end of the God storyline, he leaves Earth. He leaves his kids and he decides he's going to go off with his wife into another dimension where they'll never be able to see him again. And it's a genuinely nice moment because Tom Ellis, good lord, if he could, he knows how to make me cry, that man.
I love you, son, and I am very proud of the man you've become.
American Pie. So a couple of months ago, in college, we were locked down. The quarantine, it was a thing. And we were just really bored, so we decided we would watch all the American Pie movies, including the spin-offs. Don't bother with those. They were bad. But the main 4 I will stand by are very fun comedies. Eugene Levy. Mr. Levinstein, I never realised, oh my god, Eugene Levy plays a character called Mr. Levinstein. Wow. What a great character though. Caring dad, sticks up for his son, never embarrasses his son, sometimes embarrasses his son, but never lets anyone else know about it. And also Eugene Levy, he's like a dad to all in many respects. Schitt's Creek, great show. Watch that with his real son. Well, I don't really know how to end this video. It's hot. I talked about some dads. What's a bad dad? Oh, I can talk about Buffy. The dad in Buffy sucks.